from VentureX Studios, it's JP, Kathy, and the crew.
All right. Well, I think we just had our intro. My ears are kind of plugged up this morning. Can you hear okay, Ramil? My ears are plugged up.
I'm good.
Well, I'm very, very excited today. First of all, welcome to the crew. Happy Friday. Welcome to the weekend. Got a great show planned for you today, and that's largely in part due to our guest. And if you've been a member of the crew for a while now, you will recognize our next guest. You were even part of our Veterans Day thing. We piped you in from your event.
Live event. Correct.
Yeah. So we have got with us today Ramil Paredes, who is you are the president-elect of the Rotary Club of East Plano. Is that correct?
That's correct. President of Plano East Rotary Club.
Perfect. Okay. And he is going to be talking with us about flags of honor today. And y'all know that JP and I are big supporters of the veteran community, and so as is the crew. And so many of you have served, and we appreciate your service so much. Veterans Day is coming up. There's so much to talk about. There is so much that we're not aware of. I think that's one of the things. And good morning, Ramil. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Yeah.
Appreciate you having me over here.
Oh my goodness. Hey, he's filling in. He's the guest co-host today. He's like went from guest to guest co-host, rock and roll. It's one of those things. I think the older I get, first of all, I kind of think that's true for all people. The older you get and the more you realize about what our men and women in uniform have actually done for us. And you hear the stories.
Correct.
Yeah, you really, you appreciate those folks who are literally willing to go and cash that ultimate check for us,
Correct.
If need be. We always certainly hope that's not the case, but that's such an important thing to honor our veterans. And I think that, in a few minutes we'll be talking about flags of honor, which is something that your Rotary Club puts on every year. Phenomenal. Even if you're one of those that you're with the pandemic and with COVID, you're unable to really get out and about. This is a way to social distance. These flags are up. It's very safe.
To honor veterans, to honor first responders.
And you can go out even if you're somebody who's concerned about crowds. Plenty of space to social distance.
It's an open space.
Exactly. You don't have to go during one of the event times, and we'll talk about the different events y'all have throughout the time these flags are on display. So anyways, just again, anytime you can get out and honor a veteran, and we really want to promote this event and get lots of folks out there. So we're going to be talking about that, and then we'll have you on again before the actual Veterans Day event. And then we hope when we're doing our Veterans Day telethon, we're hoping we can live it's live stream, live
like
pipe.
Last time.
Well, yeah, live stream like last time, like we did last year. So that was really fun when we got to support your event, even though we were in studio. So first of all, or third of all, I guess, happy opening day of the State Fair of Texas. Very, 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 very excited. Gosh, I was kind of hoping to go this weekend to the State Fair of Texas. I don't know if I'm going to be able to go, but then I'm thinking opening weekend.
Nice weather.
Yeah, and that's why I was thinking that. I mean, my goodness.
It's not too hot.
It's so nice outside.
Driving up over here, I was like, whoa, when I walked out of my house, I was like, wow, it's nice.
Yeah, it's so funny because, living in Texas now, we're like
used to 95 to 100 opening day.
Yeah,
now it's
we're like,
74.
And then when it only gets up to like 90, you're like, oh, it's a cool front moving in. There was the funniest meme on social media a couple of years ago, and I always see it pop up from time to time, and it's the first day that it dips below 90. They're like, everyone in Texas, and it has somebody going to look for their sweater, and I'm like, yep.
I know my boys are like, oh, it's last night we went out, and they said it's weather. I was like, and I don't know if the kids nowadays in high school, they're wearing their sweater even when it's 95 degrees.
Okay, what is that? Because you've got young kids. How old are your kids?
14 and 16.
Okay, so 14 and 16, you're in the throes of it. I've got an almost 22-year-old and an almost 18-year-old. My son's still in, he's a senior in high school. So he comes home from school the other day, and he had gone to the Berklee College of Music for music camp in Boston this summer, and he got a really cool sweatshirt. And he came home and he had that sweatshirt on over a shirt, and it's 4:30, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm like, I'm looking at him, and he's sweating, and I'm like, and he just got out of the car, and I'm like, is that not hot? And he's like, it's all good. What is that?
I think it's the fashion, or I know at school it's a different temperature. The school that they go to, they have it, the air conditioning running, just going in and out instead of just taking it off, putting it on. They're just dealing with this. But correct, they're wearing it at 95 degrees. It
cracks me up. Yeah, they've got the hoodies. They've got, we're talking big, thick sweaters and sweatshirts. And it's the same way when every so often I still pick my son up from school. And when I go up there, half the kids have on shorts and a sweatshirt or a sweater.
Yep.
And I'm like.
And it's not just the boys, but
no, it's the girls too.
Correct.
It's the girls too. So if you're a member of the crew and you've got kids or grandkids who are teenagers, what is up on that? And have you noticed that? Because that's so funny that you mentioned that, because I'm like, dude, it's almost fall, yet even in August, it doesn't matter. I'm going back to the beginning of school, and CJ, he was rocking a sweatshirt or sweater, and I'm like, something long sleeve, thick, and I'm like,
it's not just here in Texas, everywhere.
Oh, is that kind of
California also? Pretty much everyone's wearing a sweater. So
isn't that funny? So yeah, kids crack me up. So so note to Ramil and I to be hip. Make sure when it's 99, put on your biggest sweater.
If you want to, talk about branding, here you go. Here's my brand sweater. You could wear it, and they're probably going to do.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, if you want to be a sponsor for a segment, we've got the kids for you. Also want to wish you a happy birthday.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
So birthday blessings to you for many more. Do you have special plans with the family today?
We do. Tomorrow we're going to go, keep telling my wife, just want to watch a movie. And so she booked the movie theater.
Oh, so actually going to a movie theater. Have you been to a movie theater since the pandemic?
I have.
Okay. So you have. What do you know what you're seeing this weekend?
So we rented a movie theater, and
y'all rented the whole movie theater.
Correct.
Oh, I love it.
So we have friends and family coming out, and you have a choice of watching a new movie or an older movie, and so they'd rather watch an older movie.
Yes.
So I'm watching Back to the Future.
Oh, that is so cool. Oh, that's awesome. I love birthday parties like that. We did that one year. This was actually the only year we did a combination birthday party. My daughter's birthday is in early October. My son's birthday is in early November. One year did we combine friends, and it was like magical. It worked. Everybody got along. Nobody threw cupcakes at each other, and we did that in a movie theater and saw the movie Where the Wild Things Are. And it was so much fun because you have the movie theater. You can be loud. You can serve cupcakes. You can have big fun. That's so cool. Well, and the great thing is Back to the Future, and I would have totally picked an old movie too. Classic. That one, it's one of those things. Have you ever noticed, Ramil? And he's like, I promise at some point we're going to talk about flags of honor. I'm on a million.
And I have my notes here.
He's like, keep Kathy on track. JP said, keep Kathy on track. But it's one of those things that, like, some old movies hold up really well, even though there's not cell phones and this, that, and the other. And I think Back to the Future really is one of those movies that it's going to hold up.
It is, and
withstand
there was a choice
the test of time.
between Jurassic Park, because we have younger generation kids, all the way, and I was like, Jurassic Park, Back to the Future. You know what? I've seen Jurassic Park several times, and of all the trilogy for Back to the Future, I watched the third one the most, and I was like, you know what? I don't remember much on the first one, so let's watch that.
Let's go back. Yeah. Well, and that's what it's a good thing. You're being a good dad, exposing your kids to cool classic movies. I remember when my daughter was old enough, we sat down and we watched, all like Breakfast Club, what was
I know when you said classic, I was like, wow, is that classic? Which it is.
Oh, well, not like black and white, not like, Jimmy Stewart, Casablanca or something like that. No, but like the classic from when I was a teenager, like Pretty in Pink and things like that. And we sat down and just had a movie marathon with that. Just fun stuff. But I think that's one of those, because you look at, it's funny, there's some like with Hulu and with everybody streaming, you can watch almost any sitcom from back in the day. Same with any movie. And some you watch again and you're like,
this is better in the theater.
Yeah, it was better in the theater. Or some of them, you're like, it was that movie needs to remain in the 80s or the 70s or the 90s. But then some of them really hold up well. And I think Back to the Future is one of those. It's just,
and a Jurassic Park would have been good at the theater also, just because of the surround sound.
Exactly, because of the special effects and everything. And that is a great movie. How many Jurassic Parks are there now? There's like Jurassic World.
5 or 6, yeah.
There's a lot. I think I saw like the first 2. And then that was it. I was like, okay, I think I'm out on that. Well, hey, wanted to talk a little bit about this, and I had not mentioned this to you yet, but I just wanted to bring this up because obviously we have asked the crew to pray for this young lady, and unfortunately, Gabby Petito was found dead. Her remains were found. And so, again, we're getting ready to talk about flags of honor. Want to talk a little bit about breast cancer awareness today and the opening day of the state fair, but just don't want to miss an opportunity to ask the crew to pray for this family. Such a tragedy, especially because the police had them, and they did separate them and question them separately, and you just wonder, were there any warning signs? Was this a case of, did he all of a sudden just get angry with her and accidentally kill her? Was this, it's so tragic. And obviously they're saying the search continues, and this is Gabby Petito's death. And this just came out a couple of hours ago, and I'm reading this from the New York Times. Gabby Petito's death is ruled a homicide, the FBI confirms. The search continues for Brian Laundrie, Ms. Petito's fiance, who has been named a person of interest in this case. The human remains found in a national park in Wyoming were confirmed on Tuesday to be those of Gabrielle Petito, according to the FBI, which also said that the manner of death had been determined to be homicide. That's just tragic. That is just tragic. In a statement to the FBI, they said that the remains found on Sunday had been taken to the Teton County Coroner's Office, where forensic examination confirmed Ms. Petito's identity and the manner of death, which obviously I'm assuming they're not going to be telling us that. The specific cause of death was still pending final autopsy results, the agent said. Michael Snyder, a special agent in charge with the FBI in Denver, said the statement that anyone with any information regarding Brian Laundrie, Ms. Petito's fiance, who has gone on a cross-country road trip with her this summer, had been named as a person of interest in the case. If they have heard anything about him or know anything at all, please contact their agency. The FBI and our partners remain dedicated to ensuring anyone responsible for or complicit in Ms. Petito's death is held accountable for their actions, Mr. Snyder said.
It is tragic. I mean,
What have your thoughts been on this? The whole thing, and him going missing, going to his parents, coming back with her van, which was in her name.
Correct, and they found the van, I think, parked just randomly somewhere and tucked it in the tree.
Yeah.
I mean, to go cross country, first of all, obviously you're just spending time. You want to get out there, experience life, and at a young age, I know we were just talking about. It's my birthday today. I want to say I'm 44. I've lived a life. But
you're a baby. I'm almost 55. So,
okay. But that's why you enjoy life as much as you can, because you'll never know when you die.
We never know when you're not promised tomorrow.
Correct.
Make the best of every day, and I know you to be an individual in the short time we've known each other, and it is an honor to call you friend, Ramil. I know that you're somebody who you're committed to making your country better, and you're an immigrant, and would like to talk a little bit about that. So, you are committed, and especially Rotary, such an outstanding organization. People who are in Rotary really are committed to making the community that they live in a better place, that they live and work in a better place, and certainly your Rotary Club just really takes it to the next level when it comes to honoring our veterans.
Correct.
So let's talk a little bit about, and first of all, thank you for your service to the country.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Just God bless you. That's just I don't think
you get to do things like this.
Yeah, there you go.
I know when Afghanistan fell, you saw so many people wanting to get out just because of what they think that's going to happen. And for us, me and you just talking like this, we get to do things just like this, with the continued service by men and women. That's going out there. I know I did my time.
They pay the price
Correct.
for our freedom, and you don't know. And we talked about this, before the show and in the beginning of the show. You don't know. Again, boy, those 13 who passed, they were babies. I think the average age was 23 or was it 20?
6 of them, I believe, are 20. So not even 21 yet.
I mean, we're talking, real close to all of our kids' ages, and you can't help but you look at those faces and you're like, oh, they're just a baby. I know I went to an event in Round Rock this past week in a political convention, and when you walked into the ballroom, and it was just beautiful. They had like a light on it, and they had a table, and it had 13 red roses. It had very nice place settings and military hat in the middle. It was just you had to walk past this table, and you would watch people's reaction. Everybody was just kind of taken aback, and people bowed their heads, some to say a prayer or have a moment of silence. You're right. You don't know when your time's up. So make the best of what you've got. And wow, you do such a great job of that, yourself as an individual, but then also as a Rotarian. So first of all, what Rotary Club, because we want to get a good plug in for your particular, there's a lot of Rotary clubs in the Collin County area, but we want to make sure we get a good plug in for you guys.
There's quite a few in the Plano and Collin County area, but different missions for each one or how they want to function with us. The Plano Flags of Honor is one of our service projects. And with that, every Veterans Week, what we try to do is to honor veterans and first responders by putting up 1,000+ flags with their story on each flag. And that's what, with the 13, we're going to have their stories out there also.
And I'm so glad to hear that. I kind of assumed y'all would do something special for those individuals,
Correct. And as I was just thinking about it when we first started, there are many stories out there of veteran sacrifice and or their service, and that's what we try to do is, if you're a veteran, if you're a first responder, go to our website, flagsofhonor.org, and you can share your stories or you can share your family stories, and we will have those stories on the flag. That's why we put up 1,000+ flags to honor the veterans in the community and or the veterans that submitted their stories. And so that goes on from November 6th to the 13th. So Veterans Day is November 11th. That's going to be on a Thursday. Marine Corps birthday is going to be on the 10th. So that whole week is a celebration. And again, not just for veterans, but first responders also. Yeah. And a lot of the first responders did serve at one point or another. So a lot of them
you see that a lot. You
Correct.
See that a lot. You see a lot of I know I've got one friend in particular that pops into my mind was retired Army and then went to serve as a police officer and is currently a police officer working towards retirement there. So I think a lot of people who that service and that, I mean, it's a calling. It's definitely not for everybody. I mean, I don't even know that I could lift a gun above my head for 10 seconds without falling over.
That's a daily. I won't say daily stress, but correct. You'll never know. Same thing when we talk about life. You'll never know what's going to happen.
You don't know.
You're going out there just to protect the community and or just go on a call and see what's going on. But most of the time, you're just going out there to see, protecting the community, one, and make sure peace and everything is going on around the area.
Exactly. And as a matter of fact, while we're talking, Brett, if you get a chance to pull up the Flags of Honor website, and let's show some of the images from that. That would be fantastic. Flags of Honor is such. It's just. And where is it going to be this year? Because I know, remember, it moved.
Correct. So last year during the pandemic, we weren't able to do it at a community park, but it is back. So we got the permit from the city of Plano. So it's going to be at Oak Point Park.
Oh, fantastic. So back over in East Plano. So you're actually back over there. Oh, okay, great. And y'all were, you guys, you and Lisa, y'all were, I mean, I have never seen an organization come together and really rally. You guys were so accommodating and figured out a way to make it happen no matter what during COVID.
They did. And the team this is my third year participating on it. And actually, I just looked at the history of it. They've been doing it since 2017. And so with that, we try to continue even during a pandemic. Actually, the story from last year's, it was an election year, and we were worried about the flags being a target. At the same time, you were like, you know what, we want to continue on with the tradition.
I didn't realize that. You know what? Let's talk about that for a second. Yeah, a very contentious election. Right. So you guys were concerned about the safety of the flags just because of that symbol of freedom and that symbol of, democracy and being able to vote and all that kind of stuff.
Correct. And with us, it's non-political.
Wow.
So we're just trying to promote the story of the veterans that's out there. And this is going back as far as I believe I saw a story from a World War II or World War I veteran. So if you have a story, we're going to honor your service, veteran and first responder. You can submit your story right there. We'll have it up. Yeah. That's what we pretty much move forward with. It's like, we're going to keep continuing telling their stories. Yeah. That's why we wanted to honor them. So same thing this year. We're glad to be able to have it at a public park where everyone else can drive through. As they drive it through Spring Creek, actually, it sits on the bottom part of the park. So you see a sea of 1,000 flags. It's a 3x5.
Do we have that up on? Let's see what we've got up on. If we can get these images, and this just it really takes you aback. It's awe-inspiring. I don't know if you live anywhere near the East Plano area, even if you're a couple of hours away. This is worth driving out to see this. It's just visiting. It's amazing. Yeah, even if you just go and drive by,
correct,
kind of a thing,
Your morning drive, actually, as the sun is rising from the east, it actually reflects on one of the shot that they got from there.
Oh, wow.
Was from that image, and and it's fall time. So with that said, perfect weather to just walk around and on a drive.
Is.
And if you want to see the stories of the veterans, first responders out there, there's social distancing even before
social distancing. Exactly. Before social distancing was a thing.
It is a 3x5 flag, so it's a pretty big flag. And so with that, we create a grid.
Right.
And with that grid, we want to make sure position with the military.
Oh, and
everything is aligned on a grid. So make sure that each story you could walk through without bumping into the flag itself.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's amazing to see. And when you go there and you take time to walk through, and you actually get to look at the pictures and read some of the names, and read, just who served where. And again, because I think there are lots of flag displays, but then they'll do like a smaller flag. These are regular big old size flags. And so to look at that many flags, and how many flags are there?
1,000 plus. So we've added a few more.
Yes. That's amazing. Over 1,000 American flags. If you're a patriotic person, which, hey, if you live in America, you all should be. You take the politics out of it. And that's interesting, when we're talking about the flag and that symbol of freedom, and of democracy and patriotism. What's interesting, my husband, speaking of movies, we watched some old school movie that was written, it was from back in the 60s. The era was supposed to be back in the 60s. And it was interesting because even when you go back, and a lot of Vietnam War going on, time of protest, the hippies and all this kind of stuff, which they did have the best music. But anyways, not necessarily supporters of all what they stood for, but loved their music. But it was interesting because even when they were recreating for this movie shots of anti-war protest, people were still there waving the American flag with the flag draped around them. And so I looked at my husband and I said, help me out. This was just a few decades ago. And even in a time of protest, the American flag was still that symbol.
It is.
Why has it become, and not everybody, thank goodness, but why have so many people become so angry and so upset over and taking it out on the American flag and on the national anthem instead of, taking it out, door knocking for politics.
I think they just try to channel their anger onto something.
Yeah.
And I think they just see a symbol that they could channel that anger to.
Right.
So with that, it's better to help that person, help that individual to what they're going through.
Yeah.
And that's why same thing with the veterans program, we try to help out in the community as far as when someone is going through some mental toughness. Same thing. I was telling my wife, when I see a post going on Facebook, I'll contact that individual. If not, I'll have lunch with that individual just to see what's going on, anything I can help them with.
Good for you.
So most of the time, I have, I'm going to say, a lot of free time. But yeah, just go out in the community. I was just telling, I volunteer a lot with the Plano East Rotary Club.
Yep.
Besides that, volunteer with the Marine Corps League of Collin County.
So if you're wondering which branch of the military that our friend Ramil served in, there you go. So a Marine.
just like your regular host, Chuck.
Chuck Wright. Yeah, Chuck Wright. And also Congressman Van Taylor. Both Marines. Yeah.
Correct. Actually, I was just talking to Denise. So we're hoping to have, and it's still in the works.
Right.
Going back to the Plano Flags of Honor, we're hoping to have a program with Congressman Van Taylor and or his office out there presenting something.
That would be fantastic.
So it's not out yet. We're working on it.
Okay.
But we will probably have.
I'm sure if there's any possible way he'll be out there. Before the pandemic, I remember, because one of the days that I emceed one of the Plano Flags of Honor events that y'all had out there. He went out there, he presented a Medal of Honor to a family, and they walked it out to the flag, and it was beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
And last year he was out there also.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Even with social distancing, we had the mask and everything else.
Yeah.
And just a dedication. And again, it's non-political. So what we try to do is have politicians out there just to honor. And as you had mentioned, Congressman Van Taylor is a Marine also.
Right.
And take away the R, take away the D's. You're just going there to honor your fallen service members and your brothers and sisters.
Yeah, and that's one of those things that I guess I think things like what your Rotary Club does with Flags of Honor, I think that has an opportunity, especially in a time like today where you see so many people are angry, and God bless you for going out. It just, that's so kind of you and speaks to your character that if you see somebody struggling on Facebook or on social media, you reach out to them, which I think we all should do. I think instead of going through and telling, commenting and, getting into these comment wars and arguments and all this, no, this is right, and that, all this kind of stuff, take a step back and look and see, is somebody crying out for help?
And sometimes I do get to that point, but then I stop and said, you know what? Put myself into their shoes. They're probably venting on something, and instead of egging it on or putting fuel to the fire, just let's hold back and be the bigger person, and just what. Continue on.
Is there something we can? Yeah. Is there somewhere where you can help? And that's again another reason I love the Plano Flags of Honor. I remember before the pandemic, like I said, when I was doing some when I was the MC for several things, I loved it because there were known Democrats out there, known Republicans. None of us were talking politics. We were all just in awe of the flags and the men and the women who have defended that flag, and that's the way it should be. And when you go to something like this and you see over 1,000 flags and they're all waving in the wind in unison, it gives me chills just talking about it, Ramil. You just see that, and if you're not moved, I just don't know that you're living in the right country, because when you see that, you just have to be so proud to be an American, and so proud and in such awe of the people who have served.
It is. And when you walk through it, so that's how I was able to join Rotary. Ian Sullivan, he's the one who's actually recruited me into to the Rotary. Santa, yes.
No,
Santa.
Kids, no, he's Santa's friend.
Yes.
He's Santa.
And I attended, so I was representing the Toys for Tots program.
Yeah.
And so when I went out there and I just saw the display of flags, I was like, wow. This is something to join and or volunteer for, because one, as I mentioned, there's a lot of stories of veterans and first responders that are never been told, and obviously they don't want to share that, but for you to just reflect on what they have done, what their deployments have been, and or just whether you're just a cook in the military, you did your time,
Absolutely,
and
everybody has a job. Yeah,
correct,
everybody has a job
to protect the country. And like I said, we get to do things like we're doing now is because of the men and women who've done their job before and the one who continues to do their job now.
Absolutely, and that's I think if we ever get to a point in America where we can't stand back and take time to go and see something like Flags of Honor, and you don't have that kind of reaction of pride, then I think we would really be going in the wrong direction. This is, again, non-political, free, open to the community. There are a number of events. So talk to us about, so you can go from sunup to sundown,
yes,
and actually walk out there when there's not even an event going on. So it's open the whole entire
correct.
time.
We have the lights.
And what are those
up.
dates again?
It's November 6th, so Saturday,
okay,
all the way to next Saturday, November 13th. Perfect. But yes, it is 1,000 flags, so we are asking for volunteers. We're always asking to put 1,000 stakes.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Pound them on the ground, and then put those flags. It's a lot of work.
It is.
And with our Rotary group, and we've had a lot of help with Boy Scouts, with the Veterans group. So, but yes, we're always looking for volunteers.
There may be members of the crew who are like, hey, I'll go out a few days before and put in some flags. How do they get in touch with you or with the Rotary to do so? Even if you just either want to be part of the flag put up or take down, I would assume. Yeah.
So they can go to our website, plainoflagsofhonor.org. Okay. There's a volunteer tab actually up there. So
and Brett can pull that back up on it. Perfect.
Yeah, there's a volunteer tab up there, and on the drop down, they'll be able to see that, field setup, install flags, and field breakdown. And so with that, we're going to have I forgot one of the volunteer sites, but we will have it up, and they can choose which day they want to volunteer.
Fantastic.
It's actually a pretty good workout.
I bet so. Yes. I bet so.
So I brought my kids out there.
They come on.
And they're young boys. So, hey,
toughen up.
Pound those stakes, or if not, take out those flags, fold them, and everything
else.
And it's a pretty good work, because especially when we're actually putting the flags away, it's the same thing. It's a camaraderie. Not a lot, even if you haven't served, you're just in a circle, just talking to putting away the flags, stories. And that's what I like to do also, is hear stories from other people on what they've done, even if they're not military. And they're just talking about, their trip somewhere, or just to hear those stories is something that kind of like a fireside chat that you don't get with social media. And that's why
it's so true. And again, this is interaction with people. And I think right now we're so desperate for that, for that community feeling, and for that, being out with other people. And again, great thing is, if you're in a situation medically where you need to social distance or you want to wear a mask, not a problem.
It is.
If not, come on out.
It's an open area.
Yeah.
So doesn't mean that if you're a person who wants to social distance, but at the same time still volunteer, you're more than welcome. We have plenty of space for you to either put together the stories, put up on the flag, and or put those stakes, because as I mentioned, it's a big field.
It is.
And with that said, it's a lot of area for you to just get lost and just be on your own and putting those flags up.
Yeah. I just, and even if so, and again, there will be different events, and those will be noted on, and people can follow y'all on, there's a Flags of Honor
so
Facebook and social media, right?
We do have a Facebook page, same thing, Flags of Honor, Plain of Flags of Honor, and we'll keep that up to date once we have a lot of the events going. Visit our website also. They can submit their stories on the website itself. So if you
don't even have to leave your home. Yep. Pop it on that website. Yeah.
And we'll have it out there. What's great is we'll have a diagram on. If you want to know a person's name or their story, we'll point you out to where the grid is, and you can come out there. So if a family member from California to New York to Florida shared their story, we'll have their story up there. And if they want to come out and see where it's on the grid, they'll be able to come out and honor that. And that's what some of the community have done. They're just going out there and just reading the stories. Same thing when I take out my boys to take a look at it and say, hey, let's look at to see what's the oldest story that we can
here,
find.
right.
You know, like I said, World War II, Vietnam, and when people just talk about it in textbook, and you get to see actually stories that were never told on your textbook.
And and also, you know, to me, it really connected with the reality of a real person. It's a real person, and it's, you know, it's such a personal experience. And again, it's just so moving. And I just even, you know, and every year that y'all have had it, or at least the last few years that y'all have had it, even if I'm not out there if I go out there for an event, I still go out there just at one point in time, either early or later in the day, just to kind of sit. And and I've never been out there where somebody else wasn't doing the same thing I did, pulled their car up and just kind of got out and just stand there and stood in awe of the symbol of freedom of the greatest nation on God's green earth, and all the men and women who step up and have served and are willing to serve.
Yeah.
You know, God bless you. I mean, I think the world of you, and I'm so proud of you for your service and then your continued service. So again, how do they get in touch with you? And if they're wanting to volunteer, we want to make sure everybody knows.
So you can visit our website, flagsofhonor.org, or follow us on Facebook. You could either get a hold of us at Plano East Rotary Club on Facebook or Plano Flags of Honor on Facebook. I do handle some of these social media there, so I do get the questions and answered when they instant message and or when they comment some of our posts. We just had our meeting yesterday, and we had our guest, Jeff Willey, and he's a 25 and a half year Air Force veteran. So we were just talking about, you know, service and what he provides in the community. So with that, same thing, we're always looking for speakers. So if anyone's interested in talking about your service or just what you guys do in the community, we try to partner with a lot of nonprofits. With this, yes, we are also looking for sponsors and donations. And we're more of a vessel. And what we'll try to do is actually some of the funds that we raised from last year, we gave back to the community with Paul Hendrick's team, with the Collin County Veterans Coalition and the North Texas.
Group,
correct, North Texas. Was it VCOM Veterans of North Texas?
Okay, so, all the acronyms. You're like, wait, which one? How does this go?
Veteran Center of North Texas. So with that, it's, as I mentioned, we're just a vessel. We put it up there to honor, and then some of those funds that we put together goes back into the community. I believe it was VCON we helped out, or Collin County Veterans Coalition, and another one is the police, Plano Police, and Plano Fire Department. So with that said, besides honoring them, we're supporting them also. Yeah,
I can't say enough good things about it. Now, since you're president-elect of your Rotary Club, you got to get a plug-in for actually Rotary itself. So if somebody's like, well, what's this all about? How does Rotary work? How do you get involved? What is the time commitment? Because there is a big time commitment on Rotary.
Yes and no. Volunteer-wise.
Yeah.
So as I mentioned, when Ian recruited me, for me, I was like, wow, this is I've heard of Rotary
and
in the past.
Great recruit, by the way. Got to give him props.
And Rotary is not just, it's a worldwide organization. As you had mentioned, I'm an immigrant, and I've known Rotary even when I was in the Philippines. How long have you
been here?
Moved here in 1990. So
1990, okay.
Almost. Yeah.
Yeah, for a while. Yeah. But you came over from the Philippines.
I came over from the Philippines, but I've heard of Rotary before. My grandfather's post on his wall, there's a Rotary symbol up there. There's lions. So same thing.
I love it.
Served. He was a council member in the Philippines, and prior to that,
so it's in your service is in your blood.
It is.
It is.
But in my blood, and if anyone just wants to come out there and help out, with the tagline or the motto for Rotary is service above self.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's what we try to do, is help out in the community, and not just for these veteran programs. Other Rotary around the world helps out providing better water for the community, and or the biggest thing for Rotary is polio. So you probably heard,
Yeah.
you don't even hear polio anymore.
Thank goodness.
So with that, we try to go out in the community and get people aware of polio. And again, water is the biggest thing, polio, and just educating women, making better community leaders for them. And at the same time, as I mentioned, one of our Rotary service project is through the veterans. So there's different Rotaries out there. We would like you to join the Plano East Rotary Club, but correct, just like the Plano West Rotary Club, they go out there and service in the community, help out on, I believe, weekly basis. So there's different Rotarians that, if you just want to serve the community,
there's a place for you. There really is. It's just an outstanding organization. We just love Flags of Honor, and that your Rotary Club has chosen to take that on. And again, I think it showed so much commitment, because last year you had to find a new space. A lot went into making sure it happened last year, and just was so proud of y'all. And just
hats
so
off
happy
to our
support you
current
guys.
president right now, Lisa.
Lisa's awesome. Yeah, she's great.
Lisa Bloomer, and as I mentioned, she took on a task of putting together a Flags of Honor event during a pandemic.
It was monumental. I mean, it really was. If anybody knew the behind the story, and I was in on a little bit of that behind the scenes, and I'm like, I'd get off the phone with her. I'm like, oh my goodness,
it is.
This lady rocks.
Do we continue? What do we need to do? And it was on a weekly meeting that. How are we going to do it? How are we going to social distance? This is the guidelines from the city. This is the guidelines from the state. This is the guidelines from the federal. So we read the whole thing and said, okay, I think we could still do it because it's an outdoor event. We did a hybrid, which is what we're looking to do also, as we had programs going on our website. We had programs going on our Facebook page, and that's what we were doing. And again, we appreciate you when I did that live broadcast.
Live stream, we'll get you again this year during our Veterans Telethon. We've got folks who are, we've got Karis. She said she's dropping her dad the link. His birthday is November 11th. Oh, happy birthday to your dad. And she said she's going to, encourage him to volunteer. Elizabeth out of Arizona said that's so awesome. Oh, Elizabeth, I wish you could come and see this. You would lose your mind. She's a dear friend of mine from way back in the day, before 1990, and she big patriot. So it's one of those things that if you love our country, like I said, I dare anybody to go out there and not have and keep a dry eye, because it is extremely moving. Can't encourage you to go out and support this endeavor enough. So we really do appreciate that. I told you we were going to talk about the State Fair of Texas, because it's opening day, which, you're right, great weather. You can even wear your sweaters out there, kids. But wanted to, since we're getting close to Halloween, and I'm starting to ask every guest on the show about this, favorite Halloween candy, costume, kind of memory. And I know, you grew up in the Philippines, so yours may have more to do with your kids, but do you have a weakness when it comes to any particular Halloween candy?
For me, it's Butterfinger.
Yes.
Now I cannot finish back then I would buy the large one where there's two pieces. You didn't need to break it up.
Two full bars
when I was growing up. And now I could just handle the small piece.
No, it's like the fun size. There you go.
Correct, but yes, Butterfinger, and the next one would be Kit Kat.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my son's a big Kit Kat fan. So you like Kit Kats. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, with Butterfingers, which I love, do you feel like that it gets stuck to your teeth, though?
It does.
Like, I always feel like I need, like, one of those little flossing picks. I'm obsessed with dental floss and flossing picks anyways. I always feel like right after I eat it, like I need to go take.
And it's back here.
It's in the back.
So
I
you're
know.
Like, that's why I just settle with a small one, because if I'm eating the full bar, I feel like, okay, there's going to be a lot of them stuck back there, and I'm like, okay, I'm just at least the small one, just crunch in it. And
and it's all
That's
good.
Yes.
That's so funny. Well, and I wouldn't even know where to start on my list of favorite candies. If I had to say, and it's just time, it's seasonal, and it's candy corn.
Candy corn, yep.
I love those, and I do not jack up the candy corn. I don't like the ones with chocolate on the end. I like the ones that are yellow,
white.
Orange, and white.
Yeah.
Is that how? Okay. I also
Yellow,
like
orange,
the
and white.
pumpkins that come with them. Like you do the mix, and it has like the candy corn pumpkins. Those are good. Oh my gosh, that's
Well,
my
you
dentist is like, oh my God, Kathy, stop talking and come in.
You can just grab a handful and pop them.
They're so dangerous. But then they do like candy corn for Easter and for Christmas. It doesn't translate to me for some reason, and I know it's dye and all this. I know it's horrible for you, first of all, but there's just something about the orange, yellow, and white, that candy corn. It's just
it's small, same thing, small piece.
and it's
That's
little.
usually, yeah.
Yeah, so it doesn't count, right? Unless you eat the whole bag of them.
Unless you finish halfway through it and you're like, I need to take a walk.
Yeah, exactly. No time for some water and a walk around the block. Speaking of having some fun and something that only comes once a year, and so glad it's back because the State Fair of Texas. Now, it was like a drive-through last year. I didn't go. My brother did.
I did.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Actually,
How was it last year?
We walked around. I know
Y'all
there was a drive-through. Oh, you know what? I take
Because
that
there's
back.
drive-through for food or something.
Correct. There was a drive-through, and I'm trying to recall if that was last year or the previous year, because I know that there was the auto show that goes on over there.
Yeah, see, and I don't know that they had any of that last year. I think
Correct. I think it was the drive-through, and
like where
that's
you
when-
drove through and you could get a corny dog or you could get the food.
And moving here from LA to Texas,
Yeah.
I wasn't a fan of traffic. So, and I think when it says just drive through, I was like, you know what?
Yeah,
I'm
no, wait a
pass on
second.
that.
Wait a second.
Correct.
Yeah.
But with I think it was probably the previous year. But yes, we do go. I've yet to go to a Red River game, and so I'm looking forward to OU versus Texas.
Now talk about there's a big old crowd, but that's a fun. And people either love going on that weekend or hate it.
It's crowded,
big
yes.
fun. It's
Yes.
big fun. Yeah, it's big fun. Total crowd though. Oh well. Okay, so let's see. I've got some fun facts about the fair. So the Big Tex Awards are given out annually for the best fair food. They've had anything over the years. There's been like a candy taco. What I'm trying to think of some of the old school ones that this year they've got some kind of I've got to try this. It's like a fried. It's some kind of Cajun something or other. It just sounds really good, and it won in like 2 categories. So it sounded really good. But there's, fried butter, fried Twinkies, fried Snickers. It's some of the food you're just like fried margarita. I'm like, what?
Wow.
How do you do that?
And that's what you look for in the fair, is to see something new, right? Fried something when you walk up there.
Do you always like try a new one each year?
We do just a bite, and that's it.
Like that's what we would do.
You could say, you know what,
I've tried it. Yeah, and some of them,
yes and no.
a bite's enough.
Yes.
Some
Correct.
of them, a bite's enough.
But then when you find the turkey leg, same thing. When I first went to a fair, it's like, wow.
Wow. It's ginormous.
And that's what you look for when you go to a fair. Where's the turkey leg? And I can eat one of that.
Yeah, you're like, well, and we always, and the crew knows what I'm about to say. This is like, because we always, every year, took the kids ever since they were little, and my daughter actually even won 3rd place in one of the photography competitions when she was in junior high. And so we love the State Fair of Texas. Love all the dog tricks and all the, petting zoos and just everything, the rides, everything. But the first thing we do, we always go in the morning. And the first thing we would do is go and get the kids and ourselves a Fletcher's Corny Dog. And we're like, that's the only day of the year that you're still a good parent, even though you feed your child Fletcher's Corny Dogs at 10:30 in the morning. It's okay to do that and be that parent that day.
So corn dogs and what do you call that with the powdered sugar?
Oh, funnel cakes.
Funnel cakes.
Funnel cakes are awesome. Oh, yeah. My mom's the most ginormous fan of funnel cakes.
That's
Those
why
are
when
so
they
good.
had the fair here in Frisco, they had funnel cakes. I'll just go
And you're
out
like,
and get
yes.
funnel cakes.
And then go back home.
The powdered sugar. And then, yes.
Yeah, hey, no, that's okay. I'm not playing any games today. Just getting the funnel cake.
And that's what I look forward to, is actually the game. So as I mentioned, I have 2 boys.
Are fun.
We get competitive with the
yeah.
basketball. And when you miss an air ball, when you shot and it's an air ball, they're like, "Oh, Dad, your knees are giving out," and it's, it's your turn. Yeah. And they make that shot so simple, and you win that big prize that now you have to carry.
Yeah,
it
you're
around.
like carrying around this ginormous panda for the rest of the day, but it's like a badge of honor.
Yes.
If you're carrying one of those around,
carrying toys out, because when you see them, they're like, "Hey, that guy knows how to shoot," or "That guy did something great and won." I know we had my my family out here, and same thing. They flew out, and we invited them to the Frisco Fair,
right?
And they won a toy. I was like, "How can I put that in the plane?" So it ended up in our house.
I was going to say, did y'all keep it?
We did, because it's a big ball, and it's just the fun of winning it.
It really is. It's
it's in the competitive nature of everyone, just to especially on the water.
Those
shooter.
are a blast.
You have like 20 people right there, so you're competing with 20 individuals.
Oh, it's so great.
And when you win, and you get to pick,
and the bells are going
toys.
off and lights, and they're like, "Winner!" You're like, "Yes, that's me." Of course, that's never me, but
it's the experience, especially for your kids, and the thing when they win, and you see that smile, and you see that joy that they won.
It's awesome. Yeah. It's a great way to make memories, and like we mentioned this morning earlier. Beautiful weather. I mean, you really couldn't ask for better weather coming up. So get out there, support the State Fair of Texas. And I did not know this. I should have known this. The State Fair of Texas is the longest running fair in the United States of America. That's pretty cool. I mean,
last year, I'm pretty sure some of them didn't cancel their events.
Yeah.
So
because there are a lot of folks who, and my dad grew up. Gosh, he was like 10 years old, and he was working out at one of the concession stands out at the food pavilion. His stepdad, my pops, he had a booth out there, and they sold food for years and years and years. And so it's such a part of American history and Americana, and just such a great opportunity to have family fun and just enjoy yourself. So head out to the State Fair of Texas, enjoy yourself, have a great time. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. And this is until 1968, the Dallas Cowboys played at the Cotton Bowl out there. And I didn't know that one. And then also, and this is very cool. So in 1924, Harry Houdini performed for crowds, wriggling free from a straitjacket while hanging upside down. Can you imagine having seen like Harry Houdini back in the day at the State Fair of Texas? That's just so awesome. And before Big Tex was a cowboy, he was a giant Santa Claus in a small town in Texas. So that's because Big Tex is intriguing to me as well. And it was so sad the year that Big Tex caught on fire. I don't know if you remember. I don't. Oh, it was that was scary. But Big Tex is back and in all his glory, and
it is. And
love
just
that.
If it's your first time visiting, just to look at it. As I mentioned, we moved here from California, so it is big. Everything's big in Texas.
Bigger in Texas. It's like, so true. Well, and it's so funny because, like my daughter's boyfriend, he had never been to the State Fair of Texas, and I'm always like, okay, I just love to hear people after people have gone for that first time, their reaction. They come back and they're like, what the heck? Well, the Miss Texas, not the current Miss Texas, but oh my gosh, I'm blanking out. How can I forget the last Miss Texas, her name? Anyways, it's senior moment. Anyways, she had just gone out. She went to the first time to the State Fair of Texas back, not last year, but the year before last, because she reigned for 2 years. And Chandler Foreman, gosh, how did I forget that? I love that girl. And she was just saying, because she had come on the show before the fair, and then after, and she's like, okay, y'all weren't kidding. Y'all were not kidding about the State Fair of Texas. And so it's so great to get everybody's reaction.
It is a workout because when you go there in the morning, if you do your 5-mile walks, daily, and you go out there, I think you probably walk 12 miles because it's a big space. There's a lot to do. There's a lot to see.
There's something for everybody.
It is.
In all ages. Even if
for me, I like looking at the vendors that's out there because
I'm a sucker for that.
It is a tourist trap, but at the same time, you're like, you know what? this is the only time I can find this and get this.
I need these copper sheets.
Yes. Let me just go ahead and buy it. And then my wife is looking at it. You don't need that stuff. I was like, I like this collection. This is probably the only time I'm gonna see it.
And so and you get it, and they're always like, oh, and it's discounted only to deep discount.
And
while
some
we're
of the
here.
stuff I've had, actually, I got from the fair.
Yeah.
There was this foot massager that they had trying out.
Yes.
And so obviously you've been walking 5 miles, going. And
That's
you just sit
great
there and
marketing.
like,
Yeah.
Oh,
You're like, this feels.
good.
I need this.
How much is this? Oh, okay.
Yeah, here it's sold.
So let me buy it, take it home. That's what I told her. Like, that's when she reminds me, where did you get that? I'll say from the fair,
Texas. Yeah. My son ended up getting this set of knives that ever since he was little, he was always fascinated by the whole demonstration this guy did. And I'm like, and so I've tried using those knives, and I'm like, I can cut normal with them, but like all the cool stuff the guy did, I'm like, well, now how did he do that little rosette thing? And I'm like, yeah, that's not going to work. I'm going to lose a fingertip doing this, so maybe not. Another fun fact, in 1977, Debbie Reynolds performed on the stage. During this time, Carrie Fisher, who's Debbie Reynolds' daughter, who had just starred in the biggest movie of the summer, which was obviously Star Wars, she toured the fair that year while her mom was performing, completely unrecognized. So isn't that crazy that just so the same, that same year that Star Wars came out, before she got famous, she was out there just walking around, nobody even recognized her. It's just crazy, but just good stuff.
That's how big it is. As I mentioned, they have the I'm not sure if it's a car show, but they have a lot of the car displays that's out there.
Yes.
And so with that, you could just get in there. For me, I was looking at trucks, and I was like, best way to check out all the trucks.
Every single truck
there.
you could possibly want.
Manufacturer that's out there. You can just sit in, check it out without, talking to anyone. And just,
like no pressure.
Correct.
Like
let me be and just I'll see which truck.
You get to sit in it, to get a feel for it. Yeah, we always love the car show. You always have to go to the car show. Always have to go to the car show. Well, I can't believe we're already at an hour. So there you go. So hey, thanks for hanging out the whole time with us. We're very excited because a week from Friday, we will have in studio with us Miss Texas, the new Miss Texas, Mallory Fuller. I'm very excited to introduce her to the crew. Just a great gal. Her platform has to do with suicide. She lost a friend years ago to suicide, and that's a huge topic, I know, in the military and the veterans world.
Actually, it is.
Yes.
September is Suicide Awareness Month.
Yes,
so
that's
we're
right.
still in the month of September.
Yep.
So for me, it's a pretty big deal, especially for veterans. 22 a day. You guys have heard of our organization like 22 Kill, but correct. I don't know the numbers yet. From the pandemic, obviously you're still trying to figure that out, and that's why with me, I love being in the state of Texas, just because you get to do a lot of stuff. There's no lockdown or anything.
Right.
If you
we
don't
still
feel
have some freedom to
correct,
move about.
if you don't feel safe, people just stay home like they do. And
if
you want to go out,
choice.
you go out.
Exactly.
And I think that's why, in a whole, as far as throughout the country, some people need to get out, and that's why. September, and not just for military, but for everyone else.
Yeah, I mean, depression.
For everyone else, if you need help.
We've got if you need help, reach out to somebody. There's help everywhere. My brother does a show a little bit later on this morning every Friday called This Pink Cloud, and it's all about recovery from all kinds of addictions. And one of the things they talk about is the suicide rate. And right now, alcoholism, drug addiction, spousal abuse, child abuse. Unfortunately, Ramil, and I know you know this, it's at an all-time high, and you're right, we don't know. I think I think we are still sitting on, and we haven't even seen the tip of the mental health crisis in this country. So there are people who are out there. If you're a veteran, if you're not a veteran, whatever age you are, reach out and ask for help. And the current Miss Texas, Mallory Fuller, will be in, and she'll be talking about that next week. Also on the same show as Mallory, we've got two dear friends of the crew, Faye Curtis and Brandy Braley, and they will be in studio, and they will be talking about breast cancer awareness, because obviously that'll be October 1st. 1st, October, is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. They are both involved in 2 fundraisers, one locally, one out of state, where you can, walk, you can be part of the effort. They're going to talk about, first of all, breast cancer awareness, the importance of, self-screening and getting screened, but then also how do you help? How do you help? Because just like mental illness and things of that nature, cancer, breast cancer in particular, everybody knows somebody.
Yeah.
We've got a friend of mine, Missy, and we're still praying for you, is just now, she's in recovery from breast cancer, just finished her last treatment. My mom's a longtime breast cancer survivor, so is my stepmom. So that's a real important topic, and we're going to be talking about that along with suicide prevention, and then Miss Texas, who will be in the Miss America competition in December, so we're rooting her on. All right, again, how do people get in touch with you? Plano Flags of Honor, when is it going to be?
Sure. PlanoFlagsOfHonor.org, or you could follow us on Facebook, Plano Flags of Honor, or Plano East Rotary Club. As I mentioned, they can drop a message there, or they can comment. If they have any questions, I'm one of the persons that's handled. We do have a team that looks at it, supports it. If you guys have any question, again, it's a team effort from the Plano East Rotary Club to put this together. And I know some of the guys behind the scene. We have one guy that puts together this, like his picture taken, but everyone puts in all their efforts to go out there and just to pay tribute to veterans, pay tribute to first responders. So November 6th, Saturday, we kick it off to November 13th. We'll have programs on the 6th, 7th, which is Saturday, Sunday, and on the 13th. So we're working that out right now, putting together some of the speakers, some of the events. I believe we're working with local ROTC, so get a hold of us if you guys want to perform.
Yeah, and somebody mentioned maybe talk to the Allen High School ROTC. They are Marines. She's dropping them a link too. So thanks, Karis.
Sure, appreciate it. Actually, I forgot his name right now. He just joined our Marine Corps League, and he is part of it. But the person that run it is a Marine. Sergeant Major Cole is the one who's handling the Allen ROTC. And actually, the Allen ROTC, I'm not sure if you're aware, was top in the country in regards to the drill last year.
Really? Yes. Oh, congratulations!
But I'm gonna come back on the next session and we'll talk about the Marine Corps League.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we've got to get you in studio. Maybe we can actually get you in studio on that Wednesday, the day of the Marine's birthday.
Sure.
Yeah, let's plan on that. So that'd be great. Well, thank you, Ramil. Happy birthday.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Have a blessed and wonderful and fantastic birthday with your friends and family. Thank you to the crew for tuning in. Go out and support Plano Flags of Honor that the Plano East Rotary Club puts on. Cannot speak highly enough about this event. Just great. And again, even if you can just pop by sometime in the morning or in the evening just to look at those flags and just stand in awe of the symbol of freedom and of this great nation, just take the time to do so.
Well, appreciate it. Again, thanks for having us here. And,
always great to have you
promoting it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ramil. All right, everybody, have a blessed weekend, and we will see y'all on Monday. All right, love you guys. Kilroy's Conversation Saturday morning. Ask Dr. Be Good. All things education on Sunday, and This Pink Cloud right after JP, Kathy, and the crew from 10:30 to 11. Is that right, Brett? My brother's like, really, dude? You don't know when my show is? What now? 10:30 to 11:30? There you go. My brother's like, oh, okay, thanks, Kath. Thanks, sis. All right, love y'all. Bye.